Next on Worcester News Tonight, Memorial Day observances across central Massachusetts, dozens attending Worcester's remembrance at Hope Cemetery. Plus, the body recovered from the Whiten Reservoir has been identified, how Oxford is mourning the loss of a popular high school student. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Catherine Andrioli. Somber remembrances this Memorial Day for the brave men and women who gave their lives in service to the country. And in Worcester Monday, Lieutenant Governor Polito says making sure sacred monuments like the state's Vietnam War Memorial are accessible to all is a priority. The state just invested $200,000 on upgrades to the site.
The day to remind us to say thank you and express appreciation for all those who have served, especially those who have sacrificed in the name of our country, and to, as Americans, support our country. You know, live as Americans, appreciate what we have every day, our good schools, jobs, opportunities, and to be grateful for the service that others give to our country.
The Massachusetts Vietnam Veterans Memorial is Worcester's Green Hill Park. It holds the names of the 1,536 Massachusetts men and women who were killed in Vietnam. Phil Medallo is a Vietnam veteran and the president of the memorial. He says Memorial Day makes him think of his friends and fellow soldiers who were killed in the war.
Back and have a memorial service. We take a rifle, stick it upside down with the bayonet into the ground, boots next to it, and a helmet on it, and we'd have a memorial service after every operation, because we always lost a few guys every time we went out.
Medallo says veterans have schools visit the memorial to get a real experience on what the war was about.
They come here, they're actually talking to guys that were there, in the war. And it's, you know, they can ask us any question, we answer any question they want to know.
And the memorial was built and dedicated in 2002. Veterans, elected officials, and family members also paying their respects to those who lost their lives in the Korean War. The memorial reads, "Freedom is not free," and pays tribute to the 191 soldiers from Worcester County who were killed during the war. Monday, the city remembered the forgotten war with the laying of a wreath downtown. Veterans braved the rain to pay respects for what they say is a very special holiday.
Yeah, it is a special day because a lot of times the career is known as the forgotten war. Well, I look over that monument, there's 3 kids that I grew up with that lost their lives in Korea, and this is a good thing for once a year they get it. Everybody recognizes them.
More than 36,000 Americans made the ultimate sacrifice during the Korean War, which spanned from 1950 until 1953. The city of Worcester holds its 130th Memorial Day observance at Hope Cemetery. Dozens came to show their respects to the servicemen and women who didn't make it home from wars. It was an emotional service for many, and our Rosalind Flaherty spoke to a Gold Star mother who has a message for all on Memorial Day.
It's a day to remember the sacrifice of the men and women who served the country and didn't come home.
So many of us young men and women are dying for this country.
Gold Star mother Margaret Sotaro wears a pendant with a picture of her son Richard. He's close to her heart on Memorial Day and every day.
I am proud.
Richard Sotaro Jr. died almost 23 years ago during a mission over Korea. He was just 23 years old.
His helicopter went down with 5 other people. He'll be gone as long as he was here.
Sotaro's 2 other sons also served in the military. She says she wants people to think of Memorial Day as more than just a day off to have a cookout.
There's a lot of grieving parents and wives and children even that have lost their fathers and mothers to fight for our freedom.
The city of Worcester held its 130th Memorial Day observance Monday morning at Hope Cemetery.
People have gone, put on a uniform, left home, you know, and gone off to keep us free and safe.
A lot of memories of, you know, brotherhood that you can only get by being in the service.
Veteran Paul Leonard remembers his friends who were killed in the Vietnam War.
Remembering them and remembering the camaraderie of it, and, you know, it's like a club that you belong to.
Sotaro says she's proud of her son's service, but it's still a difficult day for her family.
Coming here a song came on the radio, and it brought tears to my eyes. And I'm very proud to have brought up 3 heroes.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Last year, Auburn's Memorial Day parade was canceled due to bad weather. But despite Monday's forecast, the annual tradition stepped off as scheduled this morning, honoring the sacrifices and service of veterans.
Hundreds came out for Auburn's Memorial Day parade. The cooler weather may have kept some away, but for Brian Bessie, it's a tradition he can't miss.
I've been coming to see the parade here in Auburn for probably 20 years or so. I always enjoy the old military jeeps and trucks and stuff like that.
My favorite part was the ambulances.
Dozens of veterans were among the marchers. The crowd was cheering them on the entire way.
Son, to recognize the veterans on Memorial Day, I mean, I removed my hat, I stood up, I clapped for them.
It feels very good. It felt like pride welled up inside. We were marching by and some children said, "God bless our military," and I couldn't help but have a big grin across my face while I was marching at attention. That was amazing. 20-year Navy veteran Russell Parker says Memorial Day is very important to him. I feel very proud for all those that serve this country. I served my country as well. I was one of the lucky ones. I came home, but all the brothers and sisters who did not make it home, I want to honor them. Guy Morin marched dressed as a first sergeant with the 28th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry from the Civil War.
It's our heavy combat during the war. When you list all the regiments that fought in the Civil War, there were about 2,200 regiments were raised, and you rank them by casualty. We ranked 7th overall.
Morin says it's his way to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, it gives us the opportunity, first of all, to honor the sacrifices that were made, but also in many ways to educate the public.
Because of them, we are free. Because of them, our nation lives.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
And there was a memorial service at the Hillside Cemetery after that parade. Now Americans are remembering John F. Kennedy on the 35th president's birthday. Monday would have been the 100th birthday of President John F. Kennedy, born in 1917 in Brookline. Kennedy was a member of the United States Navy and was awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Medal after serving in World War II. His legacy is remembered today by many, including local politicians like State Representative Jim O'Day, who says his family has ties to the late president.
People don't know that he did spend quite a bit of time here in Worcester, and he was the president of my youth, obviously. And my mother actually had a bit of a personal relationship with President Kennedy. She knew him from a job that she had. His 100th birthday, it's pretty amazing when you think about that. If you're a Democrat in Massachusetts, which I am, we pretty much, I think, associate ourselves with the whole Kennedy clan. So.
President Kennedy died on November 21st, 1963, after being shot and killed in Dallas, Texas. His assassination has been recognized as one of the most historic events in United States history. There is an exhibit on President Kennedy at the Worcester Public Library. Millions of Americans hitting the road today, many of them returning from Memorial Day weekend getaways. AAA says Memorial Day travel is at its highest level since 2005. Here's a look at Interstate 290 in Worcester earlier tonight. As you can see, there were many out traveling on this rainy Memorial Day. AAA predicts today to be the heaviest traffic day, with more than 1 million people here in New England traveling. Nearly 37 million people were reported traveling this Memorial Day weekend around the country. That's according to AAA. They say the increased travel is due to factors such as a better economy and lower gas prices. A Memorial Day weekend party gone wrong in Worcester after a deck collapses. The incident happened at 19 Mojave Road on Saturday. Reports say up to 9 people were taken to the hospital. There were around 50 people at the home at the time, and those injured are expected to be okay. We are learning more about a local teen who died this weekend in Douglas of an apparent drowning. 18-year-old Annie Krantz's body was pulled from the Whiten Reservoir on Saturday. Krantz was a senior at Oxford High School. Grief counselors are at the school to help students and staff cope with the loss. Perry Russum has the latest on her tragic death.
It was just after 2 in the afternoon when the 911 call came in. An 18-year-old woman missing in the waters of the Douglas Reservoir.
The male stated that she started to struggle a little bit and then went under the water. They frantically tried to rescue her were unsuccessful when one of them came out and called 911.
Investigators say the friend she was swimming with hadn't seen her for 20 minutes before they decided to call police. 45 minutes later, divers found her body at the bottom of the reservoir in about 6 feet of water. This scenic body of water is part of a 5,000-acre state forest dotted with reservoirs. The deputy fire chief says it's popular for teenagers looking to go for a swim.
There's no swimming allowed, but they still go ahead and swim, and that's where they were. There's a rope swing there that was cut down last year because that was a trouble spot as well, and they were in that area swimming.
Terry Russum, NECN.